Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone can hear me. Test. Guess there's a little bit of a delay. Can anybody hear me? All right. Thank you. Beautiful. So we got the crude oil report starting here in about 4 minutes. And like we always do each week, on the right, big chart is the counterpunch, whether it be Counterpunch Trader or Counterpunch Express 2, the 377 tick chart. The two charts on the left are Spotlight Master Suite charts. The upper left is a 5-tick momentum bar. The lower left is an 8-tick momentum bar. Those of you trading Spotlight can self-manage those. I'll be focusing on the Counterpunch chart. When the report comes out, we will wait 2 minutes and then start looking for trades. Hope you guys had a nice morning. One thing for sure, things are definitely getting more expensive. Causing markets to trade like crazy. So let's make some money to offset rising prices. What do you say? And good morning, everybody. Giancarlo, Wilson, Ryan, Freddie, John, Miles. Nice to see you guys this morning. Just waiting another minute or so. We'll see that report come out. Wow, crude trying to push up to, $70 a barrel maybe? It's up over 1.6% already this morning at this point, at this price level. And with those CPI numbers coming out stronger than expected, let's see how that affects our inventory report. And Perry with a good point there. Yeah, I think we're going to see the price increases starting kind of at the center of things and then radiating out in all directions. Like someone dropping a big old boulder into a pond or lake, whatever the metaphor is. All right, here it comes. All right, we can see the reaction occurring. Just a reminder, next week we will be rolling over to the July contract N, as in Never Neverland, CLN. Let's go ahead and mark our initial boundary here. This reaction's maybe not over. Kind of a muted reaction, as you can see. Very little range. 13 cents, not much to write home about. Hopefully it breaks out. Don't want to get stuck in the middle of this. John, contracts are $10 per penny, which is the equivalent of a tick per contract. So every penny per contract is $10. All right, breaking out on the low side, perhaps, or at least trying to, we still have another 30 seconds or so till we start looking for trades. And that dark green trade might have been a viable option. It's already, I think, gone too far too fast, so we will wait for a brand new setup. Sorry for the pop-up messages. I'm on my laptop, still on location, traveling, backpacktrading. Don't have my full system at my disposal. All right, so now we're going to look for trades. This one missed its money management by one tick, but I don't like to get into a trade that has gone 90+% of the way to its money management, although maybe we could have grabbed it right there, but why isn't it going down? I don't know. To me, I'd rather wait for another fish to fry. And I don't like grabbing the first trade when we're still in the 2 minutes either. So whatever. Probably could have grabbed it, but oh well. Definitely have a short on the 5-tick momentum bar up here on the upper left. And a lot of people just jumping in here at the last second, so let me just welcome everybody again. Good morning. Hopefully you understand what we're doing. I just explained it probably right before you got in, but most of you probably know already. Waiting for a setup. Coming back up and testing the lower side of that initial reaction. And you can see the reaction of the report was very muted, and you can see the price also finding support on its 200 moving average right here. I have to say, though, it's fairly unimpressive price action as a result of that report so far. The reaction was quite muted. There's been hardly any price movement at all. Crude is already up 1.6%. There's a long at 66.36, 66.36. If you can grab it. Hopefully it'll come down and give us the entry. That's a nice trade targeting 63, and the stop is at 09. I'm not sure if it's going to give us the entry. I couldn't get it in fast enough. I don't know if you guys could. Maybe it'll swing down and give it to us. That'll make a new high of the day if it... Okay, it touched my entry and didn't fill me. So I'm out of luck, as the saying goes. Shit out of luck. I don't know if you guys got filled. I should have got filled and I didn't. Had the order in. If you got filled, let me know. Yeah. So this one might not work. Hey, John W., I'm not sure I understand your question. All you really need to know is what your risk is, how much capital you have. If it's, you could trade it with a 2% risk allocation of your capital, and don't overthink it. You're asking me stuff that I haven't thought about in, I don't know, 10 years. I have no idea. It's $10 a penny. And I know that this trade is risking 27 cents, $270 a contract. I don't really need to know anything else. I either have enough capital or I don't. I don't need to know why the light bulb turns on when I flip the switch on the wall. Only that it does. See my point? No one cares how much a full contract of oil costs. Are you going to receive 1,000 barrels at your doorstep? Probably not. All right, well, I canceled my order. It's already gone too far. So that white trade, no good. If you didn't get filled, we're going to let it go. Kind of weird. If it would have went one more tick lower, we would have got filled. So it seems to me there just weren't enough sellers. Came down and touched the entry, but no one was willing to sell at that price. We all, maybe one person, I don't know. The market makers knew the market was going up and didn't want to let us in, I guess. John W., hopefully you understand my point. The 661 per contract, I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, just look at the risk. Look at what the entry to the stop. And you can see it says it right here in the data window. That's what you're interested in knowing. And then, of course, your reward as well. We go to target 2 typically. So if anyone did get filled, you would have just hit your money management level and you'd be moving your stop to break even. All right, there's a long. Heads up. That's at 57. 57. It's not nearly as nice of a trade. It just got filled. The stop is at 39. Hopefully it keeps going higher. And we're going to 76 as our target. So again, the stop is at 39, our target 76. Hopefully the add-on trade will continue to work for us. You can see target 2 getting hit perfectly on the white trade. So the failure to get lower, finding support on the 200 moving average will hopefully lead to a nice move up. So we need to get to target 1, which is at 66.69. And at that point, we can move our stops to break even. So let's see if we can get a little higher at least to get to a break even position. I put the orange line there. A little bit of a V-shaped reversal. Had a nice leg up, not much of a pullback. And that's not a good sign. Hopefully this doesn't lead to a stop and reverse. It very well could. See if we can get a push higher. Not nice. Okay, it's testing the upper end of its range here. Hopefully it finds support. We're hiding a little bit below that. We could find support right there at the 50 moving average and at this initial reaction level, we might get a move up. We could get a stop and reverse. We could get stopped out. These long bars to the downside aren't looking very friendly, but anything could happen. So the stop and reverse is way up here. Yeah, not much we can do with that. This isn't looking very nice for us today, guys. Seems determined to take us out of this trade. This is kind of tricky because here's a stop and reverse up here. And it's hard to, this is like, you don't see this very often. It's because of the histogram confirming. I think I'm personally going to stay with the long trade. Hasn't hit the reversal anyway. I mean, you could bail out of the long trade and grab the short. There's your chance. It might be the right thing to do still, but I don't want to get whipsawed. I mean, I'd almost rather just lose on one trade than risk getting short and having it go up again. This is a tough call. So definitely a discretionary decision on my part. There's a short at 66.48. And it's targeting 31, so you could bail out of the long trade, cut the loss on that, try to get short. But if it goes up again, we'll be glad we stayed in the long trade. So I'm opting to stay in the long trade. Definitely discretionary. This is that 5% art decision. Maybe I'll make a mistake and it's the wrong thing to do, but I'm willing to accept the consequences on this. Kind of flaky price action here, but it's looking like a pullback into the 50 moving average. If it could find support and head higher, this could be a good decision, but it certainly can go the other direction here. So anything can happen at this point. I'm kind of in no man's land. Again, this is not a very normal situation. It's kind of unusual, but isn't that how trading is? Trading is always a challenge. You can see on the histogram the high trend. Just, it's kind of flaky in here. Didn't go very, it doesn't like show conviction, then it wants to go higher, but yeah, it's probably going to go down now. So it just stopped out. If you did get short, you're definitely better off. In fact, if you got short, you can move your stop to break even. So that would have been the better decision, guys. Sorry about that. Could have cut the loss down and got into a break-even short. Definitely tricky when your stop and reverse is a pullback. Yeah, well, there it is. So break even on the short trade if you're short here. And the price trading right back into the middle of that really tight, I mean, literally right into the center of that little 13-cent range of the reaction from the report. Just terrible price action, really. Should have been one and done, couldn't get filled. By the way, guys, if you wouldn't mind hitting the thumbs up button, even though so far it's been a little bit on the crappy side. There's another short. This short is at 37. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss what's coming. So that white trade is still live. It hit the money management level, hasn't stopped out yet. So probably should avoid that green trade while the white trade's still going. And it did just stop out for one tick. So the benefit of that was getting out of the long trade with a reduced maybe 50% of the loss. That would have been the benefit. But you can see that the market is just crap. It's not going anywhere. Maybe it'll break out and start doing something. But look at the higher trend you could see on the histogram, that the fast trend on the chart 5 times slower than this is pretty flat. And it's indicative of what we're seeing here on this faster chart. And there's a possible long, but it doesn't even have the necessary requirement, just like before, just like the short. When it first set up, we didn't even have a setup. And when the setup finally came, the price is already past it. So we're kind of getting that on the long side too. So this short trade actually now becomes viable at 37. So 37, that is a viable short. And that's targeting 24. It's a small trade. And the stop is at 51. It did just trigger in. So hopefully we're just not half a step behind this market and out of sync. But that is a valid trade now. Money management would be at 27. So we got to get to 27 in order to move our stops to break even. And target 3 is at 19, 66.19. So we're right in the middle of that little 13-cent reaction space since the report came out. And hopefully now that it wasn't able to get higher, it'll come back down and test this 200 moving average and get us to a target. Let's see if we can at least get through the low end of the reaction and get to our money management level at 27. And there it is. So move your stops to break even. Okay, so again, I hit the target and did not get filled. I don't know about you guys. There's a new short. I didn't get filled. It's such a small trade. I'm going to give it a chance to hopefully come down and try again here. And there's the target again. So I'm out. I got filled on that position. If you're still holding, great. There's another short, but we're going to ignore that. We're going to stay with this one here. So that lessens the blow a little bit on the prior sequence. If you're going for target 3, that would be nice if you could break through that 200 moving average. So it went one tick beyond our target 2. You guys should have got filled. 66.19 now, our next stop along the way. See if we can get there. Advanced counterpunch traders will often take subsequent setups like you're seeing with that dark green trade, like this one, and they will move their targets down and try to capture larger profits. That's an advanced technique. It works pretty well, especially when you get clustered shorts. It's possible we'll get another one, but the reason why this is a light green trade is because that's the trade that the system is tracking. It does not track the dark green trade. The dark green trade was a setup that occurred while the white trade was being tracked. Then the white trade stopped out. So now the system which doesn't see the dark trade, it only points it out to you, gave us a new trade, which is being tracked, but that's not the one we were in. All right, so coming up to stop out at break even. So that's all she wrote. We can only get to target 2, and then the rest of that position stopping out at break even. So this light green trade is viable still. If it comes down, that's the new short. So the question becomes, had we taken the white or got out here, it would have been from 57 to 48, 9 ticks, and making 13 ticks on the following trade. I mean, technically, guys, that qualifies as power of quitting. You know, if you would have followed the dots to the letter, you would have made a cheese sandwich for yourself, and that would have given you a positive result and triggered the quitting time for this session. So anything else you do after this is throwing caution to the wind and probably not a good idea. Power of quitting allows us to take what the market wants to give us, not what we necessarily want from the market. I made the discretionary decision to try to stay long. It was definitely not the best decision. The system was smarter. That's why I always say, don't be too much of an artist when you're trading. Maybe I was more than 5%. I overthunk it. It was definitely a tricky situation. Anyway, I'm going to have to call this session over because technically following the strategy without any discretionary decisions would have put us, 2 or 3, maybe 4 ticks positive. Now, if you're trading multiple positions, you could argue, well, wait a minute, maybe not. You can keep trading, I suppose. Yeah, there you go. Very anemic price action. What I'm curious of is to see how unleaded gas would have done. Let's check that out for a moment. First of all, let me know if you're still trading. I know that Spotlight, we should look at Spotlight first of all. So Spotlight lost on the first trade with the 5-tick momentum bar, break even on the second trade, and missed target 2 on the third trade. So the 5-tick momentum bar had a hard time kind of getting it done, and I guess it's still working. So that one is still going. The 8-tick momentum bar, on the other hand, looks like this one did a lot better. 2 minutes in. Yeah, the first trade was the long trade, and that target 1 is your... Yeah, the 8-tick momentum bar, ironically, kind of did great. Did 20 cents on target 1, and then if you needed a second trade, which you didn't, but it won on that one as well. So 8-tick, you could see that this one really illustrates the V-shaped reversals up and down and the wavy up and down. If you don't hit this just right, this is all losing trades inside of this price action. So we kind of did fairly decent in that it could have been worse, considering how crappy the price action is. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions. On unleaded gas, which this is not a bad market to trade on the heels of the crude oil report, you can see waiting the 2 minutes, it would have been one and done. It would have been a nice trade right there, short, and target 2. I mean, it doesn't get more perfect than that. Probably not even getting filled. Maybe, I don't know. But you could take profit at target 1, target 2, 52 ticks, 80 ticks, unleaded gas. Really nice. And there you go. So unless there aren't any more questions, I'll wait a moment and let you collect your thoughts. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. We had another great winner this morning on our Pound Aussie Trade a Day call. Yeah, right when the market's opened. Whoops. All right, anyway, getting off subject here. All right, everyone. I don't see any questions, so everyone have a wonderful day. See you next time.